Hi, everybody. This is Leslie DeVooght, and I am here with Kendall Hoxsey. I am the managing, or what about production manager for Spark Flash Fiction, and also an editor, of course, and one of the co-owners. So I'm super excited to be here today with Kendall, and she has written a couple stories for us. So, Kendall, let's start with I would love to just get you to introduce yourself and what is your favorite subgenre of romance that you like to write and or read?
Okay, well, hi everyone. So probably my favorite is historical romance. I was a history major in college, so I always love history.
Awesome. So, what's your favorite book that you're reading right now or recently for historical romance? I'll put you on the spot.
Well, let's see. I'd say probably I've been reading Julie Lessman's Daughters of
Okay.
Boston, so I devoured that, and now I'm into her second part, which I think is Winds of Change.
Yeah, and she has some contemporary books too, so that's fun. Yes, I'm right about this. She has a book called like How to Write Kisses or a romanceology or something. I don't know. It's around here. Yes, that one. That is a great book. So that's your everybody's first tip. That is the you should.
Yes, everybody, Romanceology 101.
It
She,
is so good, so good. I've had that book for years. Anyways, you can definitely learn something from that. I might pull it back out now. Like I should pull it back out and do a refresh. um,
yeah.
so yeah, so okay, so what was let's see, the title of your story in this issue of Spark was Adventures Begin in the Library, and I loved. If y'all haven't seen it, go to Kendall's Instagram and watch the reel. It's really sweet. But what was your inspiration for this story?
So with the different class systems, I was just thinking all of a sudden, and I'd taken a trip to Alaska in June, and all of a sudden I was thinking about all the people that had gone there during their gold rush. And I just thought that, it was a way to kind of bring Gabriel a little bit to her level, because if they're going somewhere before, his last name doesn't matter. And I mean, granted, he may have more funds to go to Alaska and everything like that, but it evens it out. But I just thought that if he sees someone that has that adventure and can take care of herself, there's no better, so future. So I mean, again, it's only the little bit of, the flash fiction, but then hopefully one day I could think of more things with that.
Yeah, I think it's a great start for a longer story. Yeah, it was good. Um, so let's see. All right. Well, what is your favorite romance trope?
I do love a good enemies to lovers. And marriage of convenience, I think, can really be a good place to start, because especially, there's you're not leading them down the same path. So it's, they've got something, but they might not even be acquaintances at that point. So
Right.
it's a good one.
Yeah, no, I love marriage of convenience. It's hard. I think I've read some people try to do it in a contemporary setting, and it's really hard. But I love it in the historical. And then that's so funny. I'm reading Bethany Turner's new book right now. Yeah, Bren and Sebastian hate each other. A love story. It's so good. It's so good. But it's really fun because there's definitely enemies to lovers in that one. But it's really good. So let's see. What is the best piece of writing advice that you can give?
I listened to one of Betsy Saint Amant's chats, and she said, make your problem your character's problem. And I don't know who told her that, but she passed it on. So I kind of feel like it's kind of good that way. So it's like, if there's some little issue that it seems contrived, she said, make it your character's problem. So make them figure it out rather than you change anything.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, so and just as a plug for Betsy,
Yes.
she's going to be our guest. I don't know what teacher. Let's call it teacher. I was going to say lecturer. But that sounds a lot like college, or something worse. And for our Spark Writing Conference that we're having next Saturday, which I cannot believe next Saturday is September 16th. I am like, what just happened? But yeah, so Betsy is going to be talking about what is she going to be doing? Layers, I think. So anyways, it'll be great. So she'll be doing that. So if anybody, well, the conference is closed out right now, but I don't know, we might sneak somebody else in.
Well, so definitely then sign up for next year, guys.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. I know we're really excited. This is only our second year doing the conference. And I think my favorite part last year, and I'm sure it will be this year too, is during lunch, we do kind of a Q&A. And yeah, so it's really fun to get to talk to different people about what they need, what they're doing, and get to just meet some of our writers and people who want to write. So
yeah, I really wish I could go, but right now is so my family we grow grapes for wine, and I manage the harvest. So Saturdays are a little tough.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that right now. Okay, so I'm so intrigued by your whole situation. Like I've been to out there twice.
Good.
Yes, and it's so beautiful. I came both times before the fire, so I guess I kind of got lucky on that front. But
it's still fine.
All good. My brother's actually going to be there. Gosh, in 2 weeks, I think. Oh yeah, he's headed out. They were supposed to come out. They won he and my sister-in-law contest. Or not contest, like silent auction for some charity. Ooh. And they got a trip to Napa. And we were just talking last week, and I was like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. It's so great. And all the food out there is so fresh. And oh my gosh.
Well, if they have time to stop by, we would be glad to host them at our tasting room. So,
where are you exactly in the valley?
We're in Oakville. So we're right on Highway 29. So next to Oakville Grocery.
Oh, okay. That's so awesome. Oh, I'm so jealous.
Well, next time, please come out.
I know. We need to make another trip. It's actually, I will probably be doing the Spark conference in my car or on the sidelines of the soccer field, because that is where I spend all my weekends.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my 5-year-old did her first soccer game yesterday.
Oh, you're just wait. I have a 15-year-old son who plays very competitive soccer. So yeah, we drove. We drove about 8 hours round trip for one game yesterday.
Wow. Yeah. That'll be my future. We'll see.
But I will tell you this. Okay, I know we're so off topic. So sorry, everyone. But whatever. Soccer moms unite. But I will say this. I saw this woman in the elevator, and she was like, oh, do you play soccer? Because my son had on, not even it was like a professional soccer jersey. And I was like, yes, but not for them. She was like, yeah. She said that some of the best times she had with her son, and I grew closer, was on these trips. And I was like, yeah, I'm so close to this kid. I have 3 kids, but I'm really close to him because we spend so much time traveling together, and we talk in the car. You can only whatever for 8 hours before you have to start talking to your mom. And we just have had such great adventures together. And I know people are like, oh, I can't believe you do all that traveling, and it seems so awful. And I'm like, you know what? I love it. And here's your writing tip from the soccer mom. I've written more words sitting in a car at soccer practices and during warm-ups, because I have to be at the games an hour early. I edited an entire scene yesterday before a game. So I'm telling you, nobody bothers you between 6 and 7:30 in your car at the soccer fields, and you can get a lot done. At one point I was writing 1,000 words during every soccer practice, which is it's a whole flash fiction story.
There you go.
So I highly recommend parking lots and laptops for getting stories written. So let's see what else. Okay, so tell me. Okay, so I don't know. So I reviewed your other story. So Kendall also has a story in our issue called "Sold with the Kiss," which was the epistolary issue, which is a hard word to say. So I'm really proud of myself right now. So it's called Love Notes, and I thought that issue. Like everyone that entered, I was amazed, because I thought this is really, really hard to do and do well. And I read your story again today, and it's just really well done. But what I have to know, because that's contemporary, so that's not your normal genre. What inspired you for that story?
I think I just, like you said, daily life. And then all of a sudden I just was in the grocery store, and I thought, well, wait a minute. What if, that cute butcher over there liked, the cashier or something. And maybe he had a speech impediment of some kind, and just had, notes in her locker. So I think we all, I would say, at least for the romantics of us, we love the idea of a secret admirer. I think that's another trope that kind of doesn't always get a lot of attention.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love that. I love that you said that you're sitting there in the store and you're like, oh, what if I wrote a blog post one time about, I wrote a story, my preacher, a
Mhm.
flash fiction story. My preacher was telling me that his daughter had started a new church. She had moved away from home and she was like the token young person to light the acolyte wreath. And I was like, oh, well, what if?
I remember reading that one.
That's funny. But I think that that's another great writer's tip. Like keep your little notebook or journal handy because a lot of times that what if can turn into so much more than even just a flash fiction story. Could be a whole book. Like what if this thing happened? My daughter and I like to play that game. So
Oh, I agree. I mean, I've got notebooks in every purse so that I'm ready. And then, but yeah, that was another good. And this was Neil Gaiman, where he just said you have to be completely open to feel all the different things. So and you have to be observant. So probably I've forgotten more things that, like, at the moment I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I need to write it down.
yeah, for sure. I think that what you just said about being observant is also really good because people do things or say things and it's like, wait a minute, that I just tweak it a little bit. That's going to be really funny. Or okay, I'm rom-com, so I'm always like, well, that'll be really funny if I can add this other layer.
Well, so I don't know if I'll ever do it, but here's one that I am percolating about because so I have a friend. She is also a yoga instructor and she'll do physical training. And she and her husband are just beautiful, gorgeous people, and they're both trainers. And I guess he had been a football player for the Philadelphia Eagles for a little
Okay.
bit. And anyway, so now they're here in Napa, and he will also then flip homes. So he'll buy them and keep them up. And she said, well, when we were poor people in New York City, he got a little money by modeling. And she's like, I think he's, some stock photos for,
Oh,
authors to use for their covers. I gotta find him. And
that,
so then all of a sudden, so sorry, everybody, long trail.
yes,
Then I thought about, well, what if this guy, just to get a little extra money, is a model, and then he likes this girl, but she hates romance novels,
right.
and all of a
Yes.
sudden sees him.
I love it. You should definitely do that. I'm trying to remember. I read something where somebody was a cover, like a model for a cover, a book cover. Oh my gosh, it's going to drive me crazy. But it was different than what you're suggesting, obviously. But I can't even remember now if it was somebody. People send me stuff to read for them.
Oh,
So I get so I think that it might have been somebody's like first draft, but I was like, oh, this is going to be good wherever this is going. But it was similar, but it was the girl. And I can't remember if I think she ended up with amnesia or something anyways, but it was great. It was, whatever. Amnesia's fun too.
oh yeah, no,
Yeah, that's when I'm reading another book. I like usually have one by my bed, one on my Audible or Hoopla because it's free. So the one by my bed right now, the girl has amnesia. I'm like, yeah, I don't really think that's a thing, but who cares? I love to suspend my disbelief for some amnesia.
I mean, that's the other thing when people are saying, be careful of contrived. At the same time, we want to be entertained. So we are going to suspend our disbelief because if it's well written and if it's entertaining, I'll go for it.
Yeah, it's fun. Right. And I think that it's funny because we all have different experiences in life where we're kind of experts. So like if I was writing about, growing grapes, I'm sure I would get most of the stuff wrong. Or I probably wouldn't because I would send it to somebody like you to be sure I got as much right as possible. But then, I might not get it perfectly. And I was a lawyer in my past life. So I read a lot of things that are wildly impossible in the legal field. But it's like you either suspend it or don't read it because it's not gonna. I can't. But it's gonna be that for something for everybody.
Yeah, like the Hallmark movies, whenever they have something to do with vineyards and wine, I just can't. I just can't because it's like, no.
Okay, well, well, you can read it because it has to do with an olive orchard, and I did go visit one. My freebie, my newsletter magnet right now is set at an olive orchard. There was also a blueberry farm because that's what they do in South Georgia. Anyways,
Okay.
They just use the same equipment to harvest olives that you do for blueberries.
Oh,
I don't know. Anyways, and they're opposite seasons for harvest, so you can do them at the same places. Anyways,
yeah,
there's your new tip.
but it's usually November, I think, for us.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so ours is like right now too, October-ish. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, I'm sure everyone's loving our farming tips on the writing podcast. Let's talk about farming. But you know what? It's good for settings. I'm just
Mhm.
saying.
It
And
is.
that's another tip for people. Like I did, like I just said, I went and visited an olive orchard and went a tour. My son and I picked olives off of the tree. I mean, we
Mhm.
did all of it. So we got a really good experience there. And I think that even if you're not an expert, you should at least attempt to know as much as possible. One of my very first flash fiction stories that Spark published before I was a Spark owner is called Waterford Crystal Kiss Dream, something I don't even remember. But it sat in the Waterford Crystal Factory, like on the line where they're making the crystal. And I'd been there. I mean, but it was like on vacation, and I certainly wasn't like taking notes. And I never thought in my wildest dreams I was going to write a story about it. But the issue was themed about art, and I've always been. Everyone says, and here's a tip for anybody that wants to get in Spark: do not pick the most obvious thing. My first story in Spark was a sports issue. I wrote about croquet. The second time it was about art. I wrote about glass blowing. I was the only person, and I will tell you, like we had an issue a couple years ago, and it was a food issue, and not everybody, but we had like 10 coffee shop
Oh.
submissions. And we can't have 10 stories about coffee shops. That would get boring. So pick unusual settings or whatever. But yeah, I watched this Martha Stewart. She had a YouTube video at the place. This is the same place I went, but like the glass blowing. I must have watched, I think, 100 times to try to like get the eye in. But speaking of that, back to your history and your historical. So do you have a specific historical time that you prefer to write in?
No, not really. Because I know Danny Renee writes a lot of, she was in actually, so how I know her is because of Mad Lit Musings. So Joe Wright's class, and that's how we met. And I remember she was telling me about Spark. So I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And she's all about Scotland, just loves it. That's her thing. So when I'm thinking about my author brand, I was like, well, I don't know. There are so many different places around the world that I want to write about. I mean, so my senior thesis for college was on Irish women bringing back Gaelic language because the British had outlawed it. So this would have been kind of right before the Easter Uprising in 1916, so kind of around World War I. So I'd say my specialty would have been kind of, Age of Enlightenment to, early modern period.
Okay. That sounds so interesting. I'm like so fascinated. I'm like, can you talk some more about that, please? We went to Ireland for an anniversary a couple years ago. Well, not that was probably been a lot of years ago. Anyway, gosh,
But,
it's been 7 years.
Oh, well, congrats. I mean, so my husband and I are going to be 10 years next year.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we've been married 22 years. So that was our 15th wedding anniversary. It was not a couple years ago. It was a long time ago. But Ireland, so beautiful, I just love the people there. But that sounds like a really interesting. And that this book is written early 1900s, right? That book, the story.
Yeah, so 1906, kind of.
Yeah,
around that time.
Gilded Age. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, when I think about where everyone kind of sets certain things and kind of what's going to be your niche, you do have to look at the whole market and you have to kind of see different things. But I mean, there's a part of me where I love biblical fiction. I can't say I've really ever written anything in that time period, but there's so many things. And even, let's see, my husband, is fourth generation removed Ukrainian. That would be a very interesting thing to do right now. Oh, Leslie, I think you froze.
Back to stage.
There we go.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everyone. I have no idea what just happened. My computer just shut off. Okay, let me get us back like this. Okay. That was crazy. You're like talking and it just turned off. I don't even have low battery or anything. I'm getting weird.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. It seems kind of a little delayed.
This is slow. I'm gonna see if I.
Oh, you're
Okay,
back
now
normal
it seems to be working. Okay, talk about the Ukrainian thing, and I'm not going to talk at all.
Yeah, so you know, if anyone wanted to do like a contemporary story about that, yeah, Middle Ages. I mean, another author I love is A.L. Swords, and she does kind of all sorts of different things. So she did the Siege of Vienna, that was very good. She's going to be coming out soon with more Middle Ages, something in the Balkans. So yeah, there's a lot.
So,
I mean, you just have to look at anything, and you can create a story.
yeah. So hopefully I'm coming through at a normal speed at this point. I'm not sure. But
Yes.
I tried to write one historical and it was so much, well, actually two, but I wrote a Regency one. Actually, it was maybe a little pre-Regency. And I got told more than one time that I could not have this. I could not have that. I was like, forget it. I don't care. I want him to do 2 waltzes. I don't care if it's scandalous. I was like, we're doing it. I don't care. But so yeah, so I just think it's hard, you know, to pick a place and then stick with it. You're lucky with your background to have lots of different places to go. So, okay, before my computer decides to cut off again or anything bad happens. Tell us about, you're in this new novella. The big cover reveal was what, 2 days ago? I'm getting all my days mixed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Holiday Menace. And Hope Walburn, for everybody that doesn't know, Hope is one of our Spark owners. It also has a story in this novella collection for Christmas, and it's romantic suspense. So that's a different genre for you. So is it historical romantic suspense or contemporary?
Contemporary.
Okay.
So, you know, I guess that's kind of where, you know, because I have always wanted to be a writer since I was 12, but, you know, really just diving in. I work better with a deadline. So when I joined Faith, Hope, and Love, and that's where Sarah Haymaker sent out an email to everybody and said, I was thinking about this, you know, if anybody would like to join me for an anthology. And I wrote her and I said, look, I'm a newbie, so I haven't had anything published yet, but if there's an open spot, I would be happy to try. And so she said, yeah, I'm happy to have some newbies. So I think well, I mean, I don't consider Hope a newbie. You know, in my opinion, she's written a lot. Maybe she just hasn't had a full novella published. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so it's been really inclusive, and it was a lot of fun. And it's actually 2 winemakers. So not in Napa, but in a little bit more east, Potter Valley, or west, pardon me. So Sonoma County, and so a little bit of suspense there. And prodigal kind of daughter story. So yeah, it's coming out October 1st.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was that soon. I need to put it on my calendar.
Well, it's on pre-order for 99 cents right now.
Yes, everyone, go get it. It's called Holiday Menace. I could do something. I'm supposed to be able to type on here, but I'm not trying anything else. So can you tell us your story's title?
An Imminent Christmas Threat.
Ooh, okay. That sounds fun. Well, I'm excited. Now I'm really excited. And I usually read Hope's first drafts, but I haven't even read this one.
Oh, really?
I do think it has something to do with one of her other books that I have read, but anyways, so that's exciting. I cannot wait. That's going to be fun. So everybody, don't forget, go pre-order.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, there we go.
It's okay. I gotcha. Okay. So I'm sorry. I do not know why my Wi-Fi has decided today at this point in time to not be helpful. But I just had one more question for you anyway. So we're good. So what there was one question about what resource would you recommend to a beginning writer?
Ooh. Well, I personally think that joining a class that's interactive would probably be your best bet, because then you'll start to see, just kind of the mix you want to get into. What are the tips? And I mean, more than anything, I mean, my husband said this to me last night, and he's not a reader at all. But I said, I'm so nervous about, the novella, because suspense is not usually my normal thing. But he said, if you don't keep going and keep going forward and just do it, you're not going to get better.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
just have to be okay with it. And I mean, I'll say this right now. I think I tried for Spark 3 times before, you guys, and that's fine. I had to keep going.
Yeah, yeah, it's every time you write something, you learn something, especially if you're in a group. I think that that's a really good tip. Also, I mean, it sounds like you made friends with somebody that was in the group, and so I think that that kind of writer's world that everybody thinks is so individualized is not a true statement.
You need that community. And Jamie, I don't know if you've ever met her, but she's a doll. She's so much fun.
Yes. I think it's important. Like also just even for like okay, so for us, of course it's a really good idea to have somebody read your story and give you some critique on it before you send it in. But even for other writing contests, whatever, it just gives you they see somebody else's eyes always see things that you're just like, oh, I didn't even I'm always so surprised. I'm like, how did I miss that? And so it's always good to have that and to have those people in your world to help you. And then also to encourage you, because every day is not happy in the writer's world. I mean, it just isn't. Published or not, it doesn't matter. So,
But I have to say that doing all the flash fiction, that's been great too, because you have to get it, you've got only 1,000 words. So
yeah, it helps
that's
you.
been a great tool.
Yeah, it really does help you write really tight, which is a big thing that people want. Can't even type out fast enough that we're having technical difficulties before it like comes back on. But what I was going to say is this: when I first started writing flash fiction and started my newsletter, I wrote one flash fiction story a month and sent it out to my newsletter subscribers. And it was really, really good. But I'll say you get like when you're doing it like that, you get better at it. And when you start writing long and not that, then you kind of forget. And so I like to try to do at least, one every 18 months or so for Spark as the staff feature. So I actually am up for the next issue, which I have outlined the story, and I'm using some characters. They're just going to be like 20 years older they were like teenagers in one of my books, but yeah, so that'll be fun. Or maybe like 10 years older. Anyways. But yeah, so but I'm like, I have to sit down and write this story. But Lindsay Brackett used to say a flash fiction story, you should write it in like an hour. Like set a timer and write at least the first draft, write it in an hour. And I like to kind of give myself that timeline so that I don't ponder everything too much, because there's really no room for pondering in flash fiction.
Nope.
So yeah. All right. So Kendall, do you have anything else you want to share before my computer doesn't let us talk anymore again?
Let's see. Oh, so, well, I guess, my website, and then, I can't say too much about it, but then I also will have a historical, novella coming out in a collection next October.
Yay! That's
So,
amazing.
yeah, so I'm excited for that.
Okay, good. Well, we'll keep that for yeah, and y'all keep up with Kendall also on Instagram. Are you on any other social media?
A little bit of Facebook, but mainly Instagram.
Mainly, okay, that's where I like to hang out too. So yeah, so Instagram, and then our website is what's your website? It's just regular.
Just www.authorkendallhoxsey.com.
Yeah, so that's easy for y'all to find. And check out both of her stories, and all that information is also in her bios on the stories. So if you were like, I can't remember all that and I can't whatever, that's also there. So it's easy to find on spark-fiction.com. So yeah, so it was so good to have you and meet you, and maybe we could just visit in person at some point in time.
I hope so. Well, and also, I didn't get a chance. Congratulations on the Genesis.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful news.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm gonna say bye to our audience and in the stream.